time for illegal ham in the face. But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bry.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Legal Ham to the Face. I am that fat guy, Jared Fatty Bates. Big Bry will be in here in a little bit. He is on baby duty. But for tonight's show, we named it Buckle Up for a reason. And as when the road would always get bumpy, you got to buckle up, Buttercup. And right now, that's where we're at with the Cleveland Browns. So tonight we're going to be talking some Browns news, talk about Chubb, Watson, everything else that everybody's been clamoring about since Sunday. Also, we're going to talk some guards. They did get beat by the Yankees. We'll dive into that. We will also dive into the Cavs as they start NBA time tomorrow, I believe, tomorrow evening. So NBA's back up and running, and if we get to it, we're going to do Crockpot foods and soups, but also our top three redos, as I call it, for NFL players. Anybody that's been injured or you think they got a bad deal, we're going to give our top three tonight. So thank you for everybody joining in right now. Please go like, subscribe, all that fun stuff at Ham Illegal, at Network 216, all that fun stuff. Our show is brought to you by Harold Keel and Lake Erie APA. Also, City Dogs Cleveland. Cannot thank them enough for what they do. Chris is in, said, what's up? Sorry, been out for a few weeks, schedule conflicts. I get it. You got work, man. It's all right. Thanks for hanging in with us. But for tonight, we're going to try to keep it somewhat positive. It's going to be hard to keep it somewhat positive, especially after what has happened with the Browns on Sunday and the rest of this week so far. And it's just been kind of crazy. But starting out, the Guardians right now lost their season to the Yankees. It sucked. It was a magical ride. I don't know what else you could do with that lineup, especially pitching to Giancarlo Stanton. You probably should never pitch that guy. I don't know what it is about him playing the Guardians, but every time he's batted against Guardians, it seems like every time it was a home run, and it felt like it was a home run every freaking time. And the time that we could have capitalized and got something out of it, we just haven't. That's been kind of the killer for us. You get people on base and either you pop up, ground out into a double play. Just things really didn't go our way. But I do have to say, with expectations as they were, especially when when he gets on here, Brian and I were talking, at the beginning of the season, we kind of picked these guys to be around a 500 team. We didn't know what to expect with this team. We didn't know how they were going to respond. We didn't know what was going on. Then they lose Shane Bieber, and that was just a blow because he was back. It looked like the ace Shane Bieber form. And then we just kind of took off, and it kind of took everybody for a surprise. So for me personally, they exceeded my expectations. Yes, I would have loved to go into the World Series, but who am I kidding? I picked them to be barely above 500. I think I picked them to win like 84 games or something like that. So just above 500. They surmounted that. They got past, being down 2-1 against Detroit, coming back and winning that series, and then going to the Yankees. And I tell you what, we've had some magical moments, especially here at Progressive Field, but also with, the David Fry stuff that happened against Detroit. Lane Thomas, we had the John Kinsey Noel home run there against the Yankees, plus, another walk-off with David Fry again. So it's been a magical year, and I want everybody to kind of enjoy and embrace that because, what we thought this team was going to be, and especially with a rookie manager coming in and everything like that, I don't think anybody predicted this team. And yes, it sucks. It sucks losing the Yankees, and it sucks not having the payroll that Yankees do. I'm pretty sure that two of the guys batting pretty much covered our entire payroll. But for the team that we have and for the front office to do what they do, they got Lane Thomas at the trade deadline. I was like, all right, it's not even a big name. I don't even know about this guy. I'll tell you what, man, he came up with some big moments for Cleveland down the stretch, and I can't thank him enough for coming here and doing his part. We need to get our boys, Josh Naylor and Hosey, to kind of get more involved at the postseason. Not a good look for them. Class A got beat up a little bit. That was not fun watching. But I tell you what, this season was a true success for me. And when Bri gets in here, he'll tell you too. If anybody's got, we got like 40, 50 people in here. Anybody's got any questions or concerns they want to hop in, just hop into the chats here. Got the chat lines open. You guys can do that. We do have an announcement. I believe Top Dog Tailgate announced it. I think it's December 15th. I got to check my calendar real quick, so bear with me. Yes, December 15th versus the Chiefs Kingdom. They are going to be doing their Mac for Mutts. It's their big thing for City Dogs that they do. Definitely a great time. It's a great tailgate if you guys can go down. And what they normally do is they have a whole bunch of people put out a whole bunch of mac and cheeses. Now, there is some regular mac and cheeses, and then there is some super mac and cheeses, which we had a barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese one year. There was another one with smoked kielbasa and jalapeno. So there's a whole bunch of different kind of mac and cheeses, but they do this to raise money for City Dogs Cleveland. I think I've got to make sure with them, but you pay for a wristband, you get some drinks, get some great food while you're there, and hang out with a whole bunch of Browns fans, especially against the Chiefs. And I know it's not looking good, but go out and have a good time with them. Support City Dogs Cleveland. Help them raise a whole bunch of money that they need. We would greatly appreciate it. Chris, we will do the illegal ham to the, yes, it was a great season. While we're waiting on Bri, we'll do the illegal ham to the face fantasy football league update because we had some fun. My Knicks in a box took out some prostitutes this weekend, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Let's go to our league scoreboard right now. And holy cow, Justin is in the lead now. Petition for my Haslam's to sell is his new name. He is in 5-2. Portage County Prostitutes at 5-2. Big Bri at 4-3. Harold at 4-3. Team Big Rod 4-3. Runner at 4-3. Look at that. You, buddy, got 0-3, and look at you coming back from the cellar. All right, we have Dog Pound, Craig Foster at 4-3, Honky Cat at 4-3. We have Phil McCracken, former champ, at 3-4, and Team Big Meat at 1-6, and then always next year at 0-7. Chris said he didn't know that Big Brian was such a fan of the Jets defense. He is. And Justin, thank you for joining in. Shout out to the Home Infusion Service. It was nice having him at home. My sis is in here. Picked him up shortly before kickoff. Well, they normally do have a good defense, but the scores from this week in the illegal ham to the face fantasy football update. My Knicks in a box took down Portage County Prostitutes 115-105. Runner beat Big Bri 147-131. Phil McCracken beat Dog Pound Craig Foster 103-61. Petition for my Haslam's to sell beat Team Big Meat 116-112. Harold Keel beat Always Next Year 117-95. And Team Big Rod beat Honky Cat 122-92. That is your legal ham to the face fantasy football update. All right. That was great. All right. I'm going to invite, copy. And Chris, paste right in the comments. Chris, Justin, Jocelyn, anybody that want to hop in real quick until Bri gets in here, talk some stuff with us tonight. I put the link up in the comments. I do have to shout out my sister. Normally we start out the show with shout outs. I got to shout out her. We got some family stuff going on, and she has been taking the blunt of it right now. And, appreciate everything she's doing. And I know my family does too. So I can't thank her enough for all the stuff that she's doing and she's got going on in her life right now. So thank you, sis. Even though I'm pretty sure you said that I was a little bitch, which I thought was hilarious, but it's kind of true, especially compared to you. You'll cut somebody's head off, and I won't even come close to that. So, but great time here in Cleveland. Enjoy the weather. The weather's been fantastic outside. We do have trivia. Thank you, sis. We do have trivia tonight. We do have to bring up, and he is still in there. Right there he is. Bacardi is still in there, and we need to get him out of there. He did go meet some Girl Scouts this weekend. Got out of the kennel a little bit. The kennels are full again. They do have the 24th. They have an event coming up in Westlake that you can go check out. Also, they are still in second place with the Embrace Challenge, which has helped them out tremendously if they could win that. My sister, God, if you could see the comments, enjoy that one, because, yep, there it is. But yeah, if you please go help out. If you cannot adopt, please volunteer, donate, do anything you kind of can to help out City Dogs Cleveland. They are truly near and dear to our hearts. Like I said, December 15th, the Mac for Mutts is going to be going down at West 3rd and Summit, right underneath the bridge. Go hang out with the 537 boys, Ice Cube and all of them down there. Get some great food, great time down there. Does City Dogs have any partners in Columbus? I will talk to Beth and ask. I am sure that they will probably have some. I do know they bring a lot of dogs in from just out of the area, just to kind of help save and get some other kennels empty. I know they've taken trips to Massachusetts. I know that they have taken trips to Michigan, Indiana, Maine. I think they went up one time to Maine to get a whole bunch of dogs to bring back. So anything you could do to help out, I greatly appreciate. I know Bri would too. We both have dogs that we have adopted. I adopted mine in Parma. I believe Bri adopted his in Medina, where he is from. So we have that. Justin is in. Thank you, Justin, for stepping in for a little bit till Bri gets in here. I appreciate it. How did your infusion go?
I was no problem. I had it was good. About passed out, but
From the needle or
I'm getting an I think it's on my end. Kind of sort of from the needle. They told me not to do anything to raise my blood pressure beforehand. Um, but oh, that's probably why. So me being me, I didn't eat or drink or anything because eating usually raises my blood pressure. But I also rode 25 miles that morning on my bicycle. And yeah, so with the needle, and I've got a huge aversion to needles. So that came out. She tried to stick it in. I started getting all hot and sweaty, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm fainting fast. So I got her to open the window and later moved over to the couch and drank some grapefruit juice and was good to go.
that boy. All right. So now you and I, we have talked off, we've been friends for how long? Since high school. God, since almost before high school.
It was a great school, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes, it was. Like I remember walking through a cornfield to your house to play Nintendo. So
you went to Plainfield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started up there in 4th grade. So about then.
So yeah, it's been a very, very. You ain't seen a needle until you had to do an epidural. Oh, there's Jocelyn coming in with that one. Oh boy. But we all okay. I'm bringing this up a very, very gingerly. Okay, we all know how you feel about Deshaun Watson. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with that being said, what happened on Sunday with the cheering of him being injured and all that stuff? Now, message me. You didn't want him here to begin with, but you also said that was a horrible thing for the fans to do.
Right.
So, I just expand on that and how you felt about the fans' reaction to Deshaun getting hurt. And because
Okay.
I know that the NFL, all the guys from the Browns have come out and talked about it. Jameis went on his rant and speech about it. I told you how I feel. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of Deshaun being here either, but I'm not going to sit there and cheer for somebody that just got hurt.
Right. I mean, personal stuff aside, and ignoring that for a minute, if anybody gets hurt for whatever reason, it's never good. I mean, yeah, you might joke, yeah, I'm glad LeBron is not playing tonight because he's got a ingrown hair or something. But but no, if somebody gets especially seriously injured like that, where he's got a ruptured Achilles, I believe it was.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
got
that,
torn Achilles.
that could be career ending. And again, ignoring the $230 million guaranteed, it's still a career ending, what he's spent his whole life for to try and get to. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the other thing is, like, I think it had a lot to do with the booing at first too, because when he came, they put him out in front of Nick Chubb, thinking they knew it was going to be bad because, I mean, Browns fans are Browns fans. We're a bunch of crazy degenerates anyways. And plus we don't get nice things here. Let's just put it that way. We get things like
have we been through since '99.
it just keeps rolling right now. It keeps rolling, like Jameis now, DTR. We got Bailey Zappi today. How about that? Bring in Bailey Zappi. But like it's just we don't get nice things, and we have nice things. We've gotten the playoffs. We've started to feel better about ourselves, and then we have an inept offense. We have now an injury to him. The one silver lining is Chubb got in and scored a touchdown. If Chubb did not score a touchdown that game, and it looked as awful as it was, it would have been nights out. But I think a lot of it had to do also at the beginning with everybody booing him when he came out of the tunnel. Yeah. And, if you're a fan and you want to boo, go ahead. You're paying money to go watch that game. You want to boo, that's fine. I don't care. But when somebody gets injured like that, like if it's a small injury, they're walking it off, limping it off, whatever. When the cart's coming out, it's bad when the cart's coming out.
Yeah.
And I know it wasn't the full stadium. It was a sprinkle of bad eggs, and I get that. But, man, you guys got to, just think a little bit. But I also know how they are at tailgating, and a lot of those guys are sauced up heading into the stadium anyways. But it just, at that point in time, it's like, pick a time. This is not the right time.
I mean, it's like if you or I were to boo somebody who got fired. I mean, that serves absolutely no point.
No.
I mean, at the very least, I mean, still an asshole move, but you would cheer.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This team is, like I said at the beginning of the show, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. My God. When Bri gets in here, we'll get more into depth to it, but it is, dare I say, we're looking at like the 1-15, 0-16 season again.
I will say, at least being a Browns fan prepares you for life.
You
get a little bit of your hopes up, and then bam, Mack truck.
Well, it's kind of like baseball. You get a good team, makes it to the playoffs, and then here come the Yankees.
I'm so sick of the Yankees. I hope the Dodgers win that.
I know. What's going on? There he is. Hey, big fella.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. Bro? Justin's just filling in until you get here, buddy. We were talking about everybody cheering about Deshaun getting hurt.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe I'll go back into the bullpen. I don't know if I need to talk about that.
Your brother's
being nice about it, too.
He was being very nice about it. Your brother's in here, buddy. He is on a train out of Chicago. It's a great show. Big Bry's brother. He said he's already started looking at mock drafts. Felt nostalgic. All right.
Yeah. Welcome back to mock draft.
Jocelyn says it teaches you disappointment early in life. James is in here. What's going on, James? My mom's in here. What's going on, Mom? Brian, I was telling you didn't hear beforehand when you got in here. You know, we all know that Justin's feelings about Deshaun Watson, and he actually reached out to me and said for them cheering about that was no bueno. He goes, you can hate the guy all you want to, but when a guy gets injured like that and the card's coming out, you can't be cheering like that. It's just, and normally I don't tell people how to fan, but it's like, come on, be better. That's all I ask. Be better. How do you feel about it, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, it makes all the Browns fans look bad. I mean, you know, when other fan bases are making fun of us and saying we're pathetic and saying we're this and that, you know, we go out and we do stuff like that, and it's hard to you know, complain when they're saying that about us and our fandom, and so you just kind of, I don't know, you really hate the people. And it's more than just a few. It's more than like a handful of people. It's plenty of people. I've seen it in text messages. I've seen it on social media.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's the day and age we live in now. You know, it's everyone who's booing, who's out there cheering when he's hurt. They're the same people that are hiding behind their keyboards, bullying people on social media. You know, if you're face to face with Deshaun Watson, you don't say boo to him. But after a couple beers and stuff, you get, you know, feeling good. And I understand the frustration with the offense and with his play, and that's warranted. That's why, you know, the people that booed him coming out of the tunnel, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But, you know, those are two separate things. You know, I feel like somebody booing somebody running out of the tunnel, you're booing their performance as a professional athlete, and you're showing your displeasure with that. But, you know, cheering anybody, you know, even a Steelers player, as much as it pains me to say, even cheering a Steelers player injury, you know, it happened last year when Nick Chubb went down in Pittsburgh. There were no Steelers fans cheering Nick Chubb going down in Pittsburgh. It was, yeah, you know, it's a hard pill to swallow to think like in that instance, Steelers fans are better than Browns fans. And, you know, a lot of Browns fans don't care about it because they want their pound of flesh. But, yeah, it's very, very sad, very unfortunate. I know it's not a huge deal. It's not life or death. You know, Deshaun will be fine. He'll come back again. You know, he's got plenty of money to be set up for his kids' future. So you don't worry too much about him there. But it's a bad look. It's a bad look for Browns fans. The only people that look bad in this situation are Browns fans. And again, it's a small minority, but it's more than just a handful. It's more than 50 or 100, you know? So yeah, it sucks. You know, it's just like a culmination of our entire season. The team has looked bad for several weeks, and now the fans look bad.
Yeah, might as well just keep rolling it down the road here because it's not going to be pretty on the other end. All right, so Justin, before I kick you out of here, all right, thank you for helping out for a little bit. I do have trivia that I want you to stick around for because you gave me trivia this week.
All right.
And it is brought to you by City Dogs. Bacardi's still there, Bri. Still there.
Oh, come on.
We're on week 6 now. It's going to keep going every week. We're still getting there. So let me play our sounder. And then Justin gave me trivia for you. And it's baseball, buddy.
Cool.
Not working. Just keep bringing it back and forth. All right. So trivia for you tonight, Bri, brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. By the way, Bacardi, please go adopt this dog. He's the longest resident at the kennel, and he's been on our show straight for like 6 weeks, people. Like, look at this dog. How can you not say he did get to go out and see some Girl Scouts though, Bri? That's a bonus. He got some yard time. Got some yard time.
That is a good looking dog.
I know, right? I don't understand what it is. I don't understand it. Like, I even asked my wife, I'm like, can we go get him? She goes, no. I'm like, why not? She goes, we have Betty. I'm like, so? She goes, she ran away from us and rolled in crap this week. I'm like, touche. All right, honey. All right, I get what you're saying.
Do they have a dog cafe up there?
I don't know.
Because I got this little fuzzball at the cat cafe here in town.
Nice.
Cool.
So he's 5 months old now. He's 3 months old when I got him.
Wow.
Did
Awesome.
you name him Urban Meyer?
No, he is. They been calling him Todd, and I wanted more of a traditional black cat name. I was thinking Shadow. Okay, Shadow
Nice.
Link, because I'm nerdy. Legend of Zelda, Shadow Link. So I'm riding home down this highway, and like, that still doesn't feel right. So I went with Shadow Cat Todd.
Shadow Cat Todd. All right. Can't go wrong with that. I mean, Christ. We had Taco Ed Sam George the Fourth as a dog name here, so I can't really talk about that. All right, so here's our trivia, Bri.
Nice.
How many times have the Guardians and Yankees, well, Indians / Guardians and Yankees met in the MLB playoffs? What years? And you don't have to get all years, but if you can get the years also. And how many games have won? Now, this has changed since Justin has sent me this trivia because obviously the last few games
We won.
Series.
Right. Okay. Now, this goes back to like the 20s, the 30s, the 40s?
No, it doesn't go back that far.
Okay.
Because remember, they used to be in the East with the Yankees. So it wasn't that often they got to play the Yankees in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So this is
it used
recent.
to just be you win the pennant, American League or National League pennant, and then you just go to the World Series. Okay.
All right.
So how many times have they met, and how many games have the Indians / Guardians won?
Yes.
All right. Good deal. I'm running through the brain here.
All right.
Perfect.
Shout outs to Zelda series. Matt's loving that. Thank you, Matt.
Oh, yeah. He's a big fan of Zelda, Link. His kids are, they just, they game circles around me, much like he did when we were growing up.
Oh, I've got my Triforce tattoo, so.
All right. See? Now we're talking tattoos, buddy.
Zelda tattoos. Step your game up.
Well,
so I'll get off here and let you guys get to it. Before I do, I just want to say Bryce taking an L this week in football.
Oh, yeah.
Fantasy? Do we play each other?
Yeah, we do.
And he's been hot.
Oh, boy. I just lost to Chris, I think.
He's at the top
of the league.
5-2. I took out the county prostitutes this week.
So
I did my part.
5-2 also.
So, Justin's right up here 5-2. So we have a whole bunch.
I like my team. All right. I'm ready. I haven't looked at projections yet, but
I love having your brother in now. This is awesome.
I know.
I'm starting Baker.
Oh, and he's starting
You're
Baker.
Starting Baker without maybe his top two options. Bold.
He's just doing it to rub it in now.
Well,
good.
I've started Baker over Josh Allen 4 of the weeks, maybe.
Hey, if you're looking to trade Josh Allen, you let me know.
Well, who do you have?
I don't know.
Here we go.
Well, you take a look. I got to find out. I don't know who I think I have Purdy and Goff as my quarterbacks, so I might be looking to upgrade there. But yeah, I might have a few running backs. I'm not sure. I'm so many leagues that they all run together.
Because I've got a pending offer for Mark Henry.
Ooh.
For who?
Derrick Henry?
For Henry.
Oh, Josh Allen for Henry?
Yep.
Wow. I don't know if I can top that one. I think Derrick Henry's probably a top 5 running back right now.
Well, I put that out last night. There, I woke up about 11:30. I was like, yeah, I'll ride with Baker the rest of the season. I mean, he's been killing it.
Sure.
I mean,
Got a lot of garbage time yesterday.
yeah, he got
A
what?
couple garbage time
34 points?
touchdowns. Oh yeah,
He
3
got-
touchdowns, 300 yards.
Yeah. I mean, he was the second highest scoring in the league, aside from Lamar.
Oh, Lamar, I can only imagine how many he put up last night.
I think it
I
was
think
like
I saw it was
210.
44.
Jesus.
44. Holy cow.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, go catch Justin at Running Bald Man on YouTube. Great stuff there. Reads naughty children's books. It's great. Just go watch it. It's a great time. Justin, thank you so much for hopping in,
No
helping
problem.
out.
See you guys later.
All right, see you, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. Appreciate you.
What's going on, big fella?
Oh, nothing. I apologize if I'm a little distracted. I've got the baby monitor here, so she's kind of crashing all over the place. So
No,
I
that's
gotta
fine.
leave the room for a second or two. That's what it is.
Hey,
Definitely not me going to take a pee.
If you bring the baby Bjorn in, you just bring her in, strap her up, and you can sit there and drink. We can still do the show. I mean, I get
I
it.
did when she was. Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, we got you.
Okay. Like I'm taking one earpiece out. When she was maybe 2 or 3 months old, I had the baby born on, and I had her in front, and I mowed the backyard because my wife was doing something, and I was like, man, I got to get the backyard mowed before it starts to rain. So I just threw her on there, and she did pretty good.
It's just
I think there's a video out there of me mowing the yard. It worked out well.
It would have been even better if you had a beer helmet on and just chugging right along. It would have been true dad right there. Straight dad mode.
That's what it was tonight. It was warm milk, little cold beer here.
Now, hold on. You didn't mix them up, did you?
Oh, no. Double fist in there.
All right, Bryce. So at the beginning of the show when we came in, I was talking about the guards and how unexpected this season was because, like, when you and I talked at the beginning of the year, we were expecting this team to be maybe a 500 team. We didn't have huge expectations. And Shane Bieber goes down, expectations, it just kind of everything got weird. But how do you feel about this Guardians team? Like, now taking a step back, yeah, it sucks losing the Yankees, but I appreciate this team and what they did and the excitement they brought this city, especially in October. I mean, to come back against Detroit, to do it, and every game with the Yankees, you were in every game. You weren't blown out every game. Like, you had chances that you could have capitalized on. But I mean, those are the things. But Brian, how do you feel about expectations? Like, was this a lost year for the Guardians? Do you think they could have done more? You think they could have been better?
Oh no! I mean, without a doubt, it was an unbelievable year for them, and it's a year that they should be proud of. Maybe I'm still too close to the end of it, where it still stings. Just knowing how close you were to beating the Yankees in every game in Cleveland, really. Now, I mean, we could go back to the Thursday night game and just how unbelievable that was. I mean, possibly the highlight of the year, other than maybe Game 7 for the Cavs Magic, probably the highlight of the year for a Cleveland sports fan. So that was unbelievable. And right.
That was
I was so angry. So I didn't give up on the Guardians, but we fell down. What were we down? Maybe 2 runs or something like that. And so my wife and I were watching it, and it was getting late. And I told her, well, if you want to watch one of your shows or one of the shows we're watching, you can turn that on. So we turned it on. I was watching the Guardians-Yankees game on my phone. And that's when I saw John Kenzie hit his gigantic home run, and I started going nuts. And then so I'm trying to get the game back on. So I'm trying to go back to Hulu on our TV, and it says, "Oh, you have to log in." So I'm trying to log in, and it's buffering. It's not working for like 10, 15 minutes, and I'm getting text messages from guys that I tailgate with, like, "Holy cow! Like, do you see this? I can't believe this. It's unbelievable." And I'm trying to keep track of on the game cast on ESPN what's going on. And by the time I get into it, the game was over. Fry had hit his home run, and I was so angry. Like I knew I just missed like one of the best sporting events in Cleveland for the year. But yeah, that game on Thursday was awesome. The game Friday, I mean, we can nitpick here and there. I know hindsight being 2020, but with that, Judge and Soto on second and third, you have first base open, and to pitch to Stanton, and then he hits that 3-run homer. I'm like, just walk him. Like I understand you can't walk all of them, intentionally walk all of them, because they're one right after another. But he's the last one, so if you're going to intentionally walk one of them, walk him. And I felt the same way for Game 5. There was a chance that they had to walk him, to put him on, and not really doing a whole lot of damage, and let the other guys beat you. You know, their bottom of their lineup is nothing special. But they chose to pitch to him in both instances, and he burned us in both instances. And, then Soto, after he hit his home run in Game 5, I shut it off. I'm like, all right, I kind of know how this is going to end. And him being up there, I think was Gaddis pitching, and he's shaking his head. He's like, "Yep, okay, all right, I got you." Like couple pitches, like he fouled off or something. Like you could tell he was starting to feel it, starting to get it down on maybe getting locked in on what pitches he's throwing, and it's just it was heartbreaking for him to hit that home run. But I mean, that's the difference in talent. That's the difference between the $350 million payroll and the $100 million payroll, or whatever the discrepancy is. You tip your cap to them. The fact that we were in it and our stars really didn't play all that well. I mean, I was giving Josh Naylor a really hard time, but he showed up in a couple games there finally towards the end and had some good hits. And I still don't think he did enough, but he kind of turned it around. Same with Bo Naylor.
But see, the thing is with Bo Naylor, it was defense, it was everything else with Bo Naylor, and then he got like one or two good hits that he needed, but still, it was like you need more out of that. It was almost like just an out. Like you put Hedges in there, you're just guaranteeing an out right there because they're just not good with the bat, and it just sucks because we have that hole. And, your brother said it best, Stan, Soto, Judge, villains from Major League. Yeah, it
was terrible. Yeah, they're huge. They're like, I think of like Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. Like you have these guys that are just like jacked and they're just built differently than the other hitters around. And it's like, like I said last week, you get one of them out and you're like, okay, thank God we got him out. We didn't give up a home run. And they're just coming. And Judge, who might be the MVP of the AL, he was the one that I was least afraid of. Stanton was just absolutely murdering us, and Soto was just
home runs though. Like he didn't hit anything.
Oh, I know. Well, and that's all you have to do. That's all you have. I wish we had a guy that only hit home runs.
Jesus.
But yeah, for them to hang in there and to compete like that when they had no business competing, and especially you throw in like Jose Ramirez didn't have a great series, but guys like Thomas and Fry just stepping up the way they did, and John Kenzie even, he struggled, but he came up with the big hits. Awesome to see Stephen Kwan, unbelievable.
Like
Rocchio, unbelievable. Your number 9 hitter hitting like that. I mean, I know he had some blunders in the field, but is he a rookie?
Noel. He's rookie this year, but he's
Rocchio.
He's one of the guys that they've been wanting to kind of bring up and get into the lineup. Like he's been kind of like one of the prospects. I don't know if he's a rookie this year. He's been kind of in and out, and I know they played him a few times at second base too. But hey, he at this point in time, right now, bud, you got the starting position next year at shortstop for me if you keep this up. But the one that I started laughing about, like when I saw Stanton hit that one home run, Bri, all I could think about is like rookie of the year. And then that one big ogre running around the bases going, "Oh, why don't you cry your mom? Why don't you cry your mom?" I'm like, come on. And yes, bat flip of the century for Big Christmas. And now I want everybody to go to our TikTok.
David Fry was awesome too.
Yeah, but Noel's bat flip was the most priceless thing I've ever seen. And if you go to our Legal Hand of the Face TikTok, all right, I have it on there. We reposted it. It was the call from Rafe Hernandez Brito, the Spanish announcer for the Cavs, Browns, Guardians. The best thing I have heard my entire life. All you hear is everybody screaming, and you hear this, Feliz Navidad. I was like, I love Hammy. I love Hammy with every ounce of my being, but that home run call was truly amazing. And I know a couple people that were downtown, Brian, they said as soon as it left the bat, the whole stadium was shaking and pulsating. That's how magical it was. And everybody that went down there, it wasn't Yankees fans that took over this time. Guardians fans showed up and showed out, and it wasn't a little Yankee home parade where everybody kind of, yes, there's Yankee fans. There's always going to be Yankees fans there. But, man, Guardians fans, you guys showed up. You stayed. Amazing time. Brian, I can't say much else. I mean, Chris Antonetti, I believe, won GM of the year again. Just truly amazing what this team did this year, especially take our mind off of other things that were happening here in Cleveland for at least a short time. But hey, we got the Cavs to take away from everything else too, right?
Starting tomorrow. Yep.
Starting tomorrow. All right, Bri. Oh my God, do we got to do the Band-Aid now?
It's only going to get worse.
Well, at least let me play this to make us feel a little bit better before we do it. I'm playing it again. Maybe not. Damn it. I was hoping to play it again too. Double click it. All right. So I have to ask you before, does Maddie May have sound going on right now?
Sound?
Yes.
Is it twinkle?
Is it twinkle,
do you hear
twinkle? Hold on. I'm just curious.
Yes.
Is it twinkle, twinkle? No. Keep it on. Keep it, buddy.
No, I don't care. I'll be able to tell if she's crying. She's down now. So she's now moved from vertical to horizontal.
Hey, if you saw me earlier, I'm going like this. I'm like, is that my kids? And I'm like, hold on, maybe it's this earpiece. And I'm like, and I kept hearing it. I'm like, it sounds like twinkle, twinkle.
Do you smell toast? Can you stick your tongue out? What's going on?
All right, so we already got over the whole booing and cheering crap with Deshaun Watson, and we're kind of done it over with. With that, I am, Bri. The great thing about this past Sunday, Nick Chubb came back.
Sure.
Huge ovation.
Absolutely.
11 rushes, 22 yards, got in the end zone. All right. Just nice seeing Nick Chubb back. How is it as a fan to see, and I know for a Browns fan, it's pretty much all Browns fans. Nick Chubb is like one of our top players here that everybody like loves. Mm-hmm. How did it feel for you to see him actually run out of the tunnel and get in the game and get a couple carries and get his feet underneath of him?
Oh, it was huge. I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Nick Chubb because it was such a monumental moment for him to put in all the work and go through what he went through for 13 months and then to come back to a team that your own fans hate. There's seemingly no hope, and he comes back to it. Like my wife, who doesn't even really watch sports or care a ton about it. She loves Nick Chubb, and she's asking me like, why is Nick Chubb coming back? He should sit out the rest of this year. We have nothing to play for. Save his body and come back next year and try to win something next year. Brother. Right. And I didn't even bring that up. I was just like, these guys are just wired different. They're not thinking like, well, are we really playing for anything? He's focused since last September. He's focused on getting back on the field as soon as possible. And so that just happened to be this past weekend. And it wasn't a typical Nick Chubb day. And I think some of that is just him, having to knock off the rust and get used to the NFL game again. It's a lot quicker than practice, and some of that is our offensive line is just terrible. I mean, we've said it all year long, and we hope getting healthier might help us. So far, it really hasn't. Jed Wills, I mean, my God, I don't know if I've seen an offensive tackle play as poorly as he did last game.
I mean, Brian, did you just the video that they got of him?
I didn't even see it. I didn't even see it.
Okay, so it's him and Batonio lining up, and it's when Deshaun gets pretty much leveled. But you see the guy coming, and he just puts his hand like he's touching Batonio like this and looks the other way. Batonio's blocking the inside guy, and that guy just comes right in between them. And Jed Wills just turns around and throws his hands up like this. And then Watson gets destroyed, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, get a hat on somebody. Like, he didn't touch anybody, Bri. He's just out there in no man's land.
Well, then he must have done it again later in the game, because I did see the one where DTR got leveled, and I'm thinking,
I was thinking about.
I don't know.
It might have been that one. I just saw the video. And I'm like, dude, you didn't even touch anybody. You had two guys run right by you, and you didn't even touch a single person.
So we went out for a little lunch after church, and I watched like the first quarter and a half out at the restaurant, and then they were doing so poorly. Yeah, I think you were texting me saying like, "You got to be kidding me!" After they returned that first opening kickoff.
Oh no! My exact words to you was, "All I can do is laugh now." Those were my exact words to you.
All right, at 105, I go, "What happened at 105?" Oh yeah, that's right.
Brian, this is the first time, and I even, like, my wife comes out, and I'm an excitable boy. I really am. I get excited over things. I watched this entire game, Brian. It was like it was on because we talk about it all the time. That's what we do, is talk about Cleveland sports.
Sure.
Like, it just ended up becoming background noise, Brian. Like, I'm just sitting there watching it. Like, there's no emotion. Like, I can't even get angry. You got Adam Archuleta throwing every glaring thing out, and it's just like, I'm just sitting there watching this going, what are we doing? Like, is this what we're dealing with again? Like, are we Hugh Jacksoning it up again? Are we going to go 1-15 again? I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, Brian, this was even before Deshaun got hurt. You moved the ball a little bit, Brian. There was no deep pass whatsoever. Deshaun took underneath pass that he could. Like, it was little screen passes, it was little dump offs, and seriously, Adam Archuleta had a pin in his hand going, wrong read. That guy was wide open. Why is he throwing to this guy in the flat that's covered? Another wrong read. That guy was wide open. You had Jerry Jeudy come off the sideline, busting his helmet up on the seat. Like, you have Stefanski. We're still making stupid mental mistakes. You got Stefanski sitting there when they're actually within range to do something. They get called for another damn penalty, and you see Stefanski go, what the fuck are we doing? I mean, Brian, it is, I don't even know what to say. Like, this is not normal. This is not normal NFL. This isn't normal things that are going on right now. It's like we're being punished.
Yeah, and now that Deshaun's out, I mean, because Deshaun was so much of the conversation about this team. It was 70% of the conversation. Like, why is he so terrible? So now that he's out, and he's the kicking bag, he's the heavy bag that everyone's just been beating on for so long, and so remove him. We'll talk about him this game and maybe next week, if that. But after that, it's gonna. We're going to shift our focus to, all right, how bad is this offensive line? How bad is our running game? How bad are our receivers that keep dropping the ball?
Before we do shift over, I have to ask you, Bri, and I have to ask you this honestly, and I want your honest opinion. After all the boos, after all the cheers of getting injured, is Deshaun Watson ever going to wear a Browns jersey again and start for the Browns?
I definitely think there's a chance. and nobody wants to hear it. And a lot of people feel like, okay, Deshaun's out for the year. We're done. We're free of this, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, again, I tell you, you're living in a fantasy world. You're not living in reality. He's due. What did Adam Schefter say yesterday on the McAfee show? He's due $72 million next year. He's due $72 million in 2026. You just can't evaporate that. You just can't say, "Oh yeah, we'll just give you all that money," and you just go away. You know, that's what some Browns fans think. In all reality, if you ask me, if you're holding me down now and ask me to predict the future for next year, I think if he's healthy, he's your starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. And I think obviously Ken Dorsey's long gone. I mean, forget about it. He's absolutely terrible. You need to find something else, a way to try to fix this offense that looked like last year, to where Deshaun didn't look terrible. You won plenty of games, but this year he looks like the worst quarterback in the league and maybe the worst quarterback in the last 5 years.
Right.
So I could see a scenario.
So far, he's the worst quarterback in Browns history. Like, that's where we're at right now with Deshaun Watson. Those are the numbers.
I don't believe that. You know how bad some of our quarterbacks have been.
I get what you're saying. Look at the numbers. He has been the worst quarterback in Browns history.
I mean, maybe certainly by some statistics, you might be able to see that. I don't know. I'm not going to say you're wrong. But as bad as our quarterbacks have been, I find that hard to believe.
And I get what you're saying, but at least some of those guys had some efficient games.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so far we haven't had an efficient, true game from Deshaun Watson.
Oh, are you talking about just this year?
No, well, it's pretty much his whole career right now. But like,
no, but he wasn't that bad last year. He wasn't this bad. People, like I said last week, people want to believe that he's just been this bad the whole time. No, you forget it was 4-1 last year. It's hard to fathom.
That 4-1 was kind of gloated there a little bit, Bri.
He beat Joe Burrow. He beat Lamar Jackson.
He's the one that beat them all. He beat them all. Yep. Okay.
If you're gonna say that he's the reason we're losing all these games this year, then you got to give him credit for the wins last year.
I am far from saying that. I think our whole offense is broke right now. I think they did.
So why do you think our offense is so terrible this year?
Honestly, right now, Bri, after seeing everything that's happened, you pretty much revamped the whole offense. You have a new running back coach, right? Right. You have a new offensive line coach, right? Right. You got a new offensive coordinator, right? Right. Why would you do that after 11-5 season? Why would you get rid of
your issue is with coaching?
Right now it is, because I just don't get this, because last year we had the exact same people, the exact same damn people here. And we went 11-5 and made the playoffs, right? What has changed since then? The offense have changed. Van Pelt is gone. Callahan is gone. Stump Mitchell is gone. All these guys on the offense are gone. We brought in new people, and right now it is like, Brian, the defense is doing everything they can. Yes, are they playing fantastic? Are they playing elite of elite? No, but they're holding people to 21, 22, 23 points. Our offense can't even score 15 freaking points a game.
Yeah, and I don't know if you really had a chance of keeping Bill Callahan, because he's gonna go with this kid, but I mean, whether it's changing up the offensive philosophy or just him having, because let's remember, he was more than just an offensive line coach. He was like the run game coordinator or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
We talked and we kind of knew when it happened that it was a big loss, but I think that's just an absolutely huge loss. And I think, as great as he was, I think Ken Dorsey is just as bad. and just mixing those two is terrible. And I'm not, I give Deshaun Watson more of a leash than most Browns fans do, but I'm not saying that he has nothing to do with it. He's missing reads too.
Okay, no, I
but
gotta ask you,
go ahead.
Brian. And okay, because the front office, this whole thing has happened. The front office, coaching, owner, everybody's all in step with this of bringing Deshaun in here. All of this happening, right? It has not worked. Okay, most people were not on board. Obviously, you're going to have that with any fan base. But if you take it out of this, Brian, if he was not paid what he has been paid and not performed the way he has performed, he would have been benched already, right? They would have benched him in week 4 because this has been a kind of a crap show. All right. The only reason he was out there is because we got to see what we have. We got to see what we have. And I get that. But guess what? Everything else is broken right now. So no matter what you have, you got a left tackle that can't even block right now. You got Conklin, who you signed to a 4-year extension, can't even stay on the field right now. He's hurt all the time. And I was so excited when they signed Conklin. But when they gave him that extension, I was like, I don't know about that. Don't know about that one. You got Wyatt Teller gone. You got rookie in for him. It's just like everything that has happened to this team has happened. Then you trade away, Bri. I love our wide receivers. Amari Cooper has only been a good receiver for us since, dare I say, Josh Gordon? When Josh Gordon had his numbers, like we had a top wide receiver here. And yes, he had the dropsies. I would have the dropsies too if I had rumored of being traded for Brandon Ayuk too. I'd be upset too. Like you wouldn't. Be human. You'd be upset too. But still, the man has got 1,000 yards for us. And you trade him to, hey, not only trade him, you eat the salary, trade him for the veteran minimum to Buffalo. Hey, buddy, go have fun. What did Amari Cooper end up with? I'm pretty sure he had 66 yards and a touchdown with Josh Allen. So, like, it's like, what are we doing here? What is going on? Where is this team at? There is no cohesion anymore. And that's what they always preach to us. Oh, we're in lockstep. Andrew Berry, Stefanski, D. Podesta, we're in lockstep. We're in lockstep. Everything's good. We're all together. We're all together pushing forward. That's not the case anymore, Brian. It feels like that lockstep is broken and it's not good right now.
Yeah, and I kind of declared when I made my pick for this game that this was my last stand with the Browns for this year. And as much as I don't want to admit it, I think maybe the Browns thought that the Philadelphia game was their last stand. Like once they lost that, it's like, okay, yeah, they could have waited to trade Amari Cooper until we're 1-7 or 1-8 or whatever until the trade deadline. They probably could have got the same things. But yeah, that move of trading Amari Cooper kind of told me that, hey, it's just not our year. We need to start looking and planning towards the future. And then this report that they told DTR on Friday that he was going to be the backup, that kind of also points to, hey, we want to see, we know what Jameis is, and Jameis is only here for this year, and we've already decided that this year doesn't count. So what do we need to see Jameis? So let's see DTR. Let's make him our backup, and that way, if he gets in there, the season's done anyways. Let's see what the young kid has. And so I feel like that's kind of when they made that decision, unless Jameis did something to really tick them off and he got demoted to third string for doing something wrong. That's the only other reason I could think that they would make that move. So, hey, I think they had in their head that, hey, if we can win this game, great. But at this point, we kind of have 1 foot in 2024, 1 foot in 2025.
You and I think alike, buddy, and I'll even give one more hot take. I think that he wanted to have Jameis as the backup, and he got a ring from the front office or the owner saying, hey, DTR's the backup this week in case things go bad. If things go bad, pull Watson out, put DTR in. I think that was a conversation that was had. And this is why Chris, there you go. Chris asked the question, why did DTR first and not Jameis? DTR was named, and it's supposedly, right, they had packages for DTR for this game, and that's why he was the backup and not Jameis. Right, I'm telling you, I really do think that the front office talked to Stefanski and said, hey, this is how it's going to be. If we're going to have another bad game with Watson, DTR is going to go in. We got to see what we got with DTR, and we'll go from there. Because I don't know what else. I don't know what else it would have been to have DTR as the backup instead of Jameis Winston. If you're in it to win football games, Jameis Winston should have been the backup, not DTR.
Yeah, and you get these Browns fans that are living in fantasy land again that say, well, maybe call up the Colts, see if we can get Joe Flacco back.
God, I love those. Hey, our buddy Nick Carnes got called a racist
because he wanted a white quarterback.
No, had nothing to do with it. Of all the Browns fans that I know, Nick Carnes is like the most positive Browns fan I know. He has been behind anything and everything that the Browns have done, even if they sucked 0-15, it's all right. We're going to be great. We're going to be fine. He was behind it. As soon as he saw that Deshaun Watson was not doing good, called him out, said, hey, this isn't working. Deshaun Watson's not working. Man got called racist for saying Deshaun Watson, it doesn't work here. And that all of Nick Carnes' favorite people and all of his followers are all racist too. And I just started giggling. I'm like, okay, this is where we're at right now. Browns fans, this is where we're at. That we're going, like, seriously? Like, this is where we're at of all places?
Right. And that's what social media is. And I mean, look, I'm not naive to it. I'm sure for some Browns fans, race does play a part in why they don't like Deshaun. I'm guessing Nick Carnes is not one of those guys, but yeah, it's just a cesspool. But going back to, like, they're not getting Joe Flacco, and the reason they're not getting Joe Flacco is because they're not fighting for anything this year. They're 4-3 or something. Maybe you have those conversations.
Zappy.
And he kicked our butts. He kicked our butts when he was here. So I'm half tempted to see me some Bailey Zappi. But no, I think when DTR is healthy, you got to see what you have with him, because he's the only one who could potentially have a future in Cleveland. So yeah, play him. Like I said last year, he had some tough games. He was thrown to the wolves against the Ravens last year, and then I saw him progressively get better, and then he got hurt. Now he might be a guy. He's so skinny, he's so thin that he could just be a guy who's dealing with injuries his entire career. He just might not have the body to take the hits in the NFL. So, that's the other thing with the Deshaun injury. It could have been so much worse. I mean, if we were 5-2 or 4-1 or whatever, and then Deshaun gets injured, it's like an absolute gut punch.
It would have been a gut punch, but the front office would have reacted different, right? Because
what do you mean? Oh, they react?
It wouldn't be Bailey Zappi coming here.
Oh yeah, no. But I'm just saying, like last year, you were flying high. You had aspirations of playoffs, and you're like, man, I know Deshaun's not looking great, but he's starting to look better. In the Baltimore game, well, I'm not getting into that again. But we were on our high horse. We were feeling so great about the direction of the Browns, and then we get the gut punch on Wednesday morning, and it's like just takes all your air out of you. Now this year is just different. It's like, we've been terrible. How much worse can it get? You feel bad for the player. At least 95% of Browns fans feel bad for the player. And I mean, honestly, it's going to be hard for me to get excitement for the season, because the excitement I had was wanting to and hoping for, and some people might say I'm an idiot for hoping, for seeing Deshaun play better and give us some hope for the future. Now our hope for the future is tanking it and getting a high draft pick. And we talked a little bit earlier today, even though I couldn't hear you great and you're kind of breaking up, but I was trying to tell you my point of,
Oh yeah.
we're gonna talk a ton about the draft over the next several months, but at this point where we sit today, there's no sure thing. Even if we get the number one pick, it's a crapshoot. There's no Caleb Williams. You want that guy who's been talked about being this guy's. Hey, he's the number one pick. Or this guy, Jaden Daniels, had an unbelievable season start to finish. Or Joe Burrow had an unbelievable season start to finish. This is your guy. The Browns are going to draft a guy. If they draft a guy in the first round, the Browns are going to draft a guy who's the flavor of the month. Whoever plays the best in the next 6 weeks will probably talk ourselves into being a great quarterback. And, we've seen Carson Beck be at the top. He's fallen down. Quinn Ewers at the top, falling down. Shador Sanders, terrible.
Oh, everybody's going Cam Ward right now.
Cam Ward is the flavor of the month.
Oh my God! Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, it was Jalen Milroe. How could he not be the number one pick? And so we're just going to draft a guy.
What is it, Grant
Garrett Nussmeier? Yeah, Grant. Yeah, LSU guy. It's just going to be a guy who, and I'll be pounding the drum for the Medina kid, Drew Aller, for Penn State, because.
Buddy, if I were Drew Aller, I'd be like,
he's a Browns fan.
NIL money. I know he's
a Browns fan,
but
he has dreams of playing for the Browns. So, but he didn't. He can still look great. He didn't look great against Ohio State.
Medina and start knocking on doors, being like, "Excuse me, Mama Aller, Daddy Aller, can your son come play for us?"
It's him drafting it. I think essentially he's going to probably end up going back to Penn State, but he has the Josh Allen body. He has the Josh Allen mobility. I don't think his skills are quite there just yet. He would be more of a project. Maybe you could get him in the second round. But if he tears up Ohio State, his name's going to the top of the list. They're undefeated right now. It's them and Oregon are the two undefeated teams. So if he shows out against Ohio State, his name is going right up there at the top of the list because he has the NFL body. So, but yeah, last year he struggled against Ohio State. He struggled against Michigan, and so that's what you remember right now.
Well, the one thing that concerns me about him is like Christian Hackenberg. We thought Hackenberg was going to be the next Andrew Luck. Like he was going to be. Hold on. How about this? Look at Trevor Lawrence. He was supposed to be the golden child.
Oh yeah.
He's just okay.
That's the other side of it. That's the other side of it. Right.
But I do have to ask you, Brian, like we've been on this whole Deshaun thing and everything else. Is the reason why you had such high hopes this year is because they paid Deshaun and they actually went out and tried to get a franchise quarterback for the Browns?
Well, I could turn it back around on you. You had higher hopes for this season than I did. Why did you have high hopes?
Well, the reason why I had higher hopes this season is because as a team that went 11-5 last year with Joe Flacco and pretty much the whole team coming back, how else are you not supposed to? You had an elite defense. I didn't realize, but you still had chances. Like Ford did okay. All right. Ford did okay. They brought in some other veterans that you needed. Mari Cooper's still here. You went out, you took a swing on Jerry Jeudy, that whatever. We did the same thing with Elijah Moore. I had high hopes because everybody was still in place, Bri. You had an 11-5 team that went to the playoffs, lost to Houston Texans, and everybody was still in place. What's missing from that? 1, Joe Flacco. 2, offensive coaches. Guess what sucks right now? Our offense. How else am I supposed to, expect anything else when you have a playoff team and you come back next year and you look like you can't even play fundamental football on offense? Brian, we're still having motion penalties. We're still having stupid offside calls. I mean, it's not little things. These are major things that they do in practice every freaking day, and they still can't get it right on the field.
I think you and I both vastly underestimated the impact of the offensive coaches, like you said. We thought, Bill Callahan, losing him is going to hurt. We can find somebody. This
And the
Andy
thing is like,
Dickerson, he's been decent.
you have players on record saying they didn't like Bill Callahan. They didn't like the way he coached. Why? Because he actually coached you and wasn't your best friend and put his arm around you and said, hey, it's okay. I'm sorry that you missed 3 guys that blew right by you, but it's okay. Get back in there and do it again. No, he'd be in your ass, just like the defense is responding to Jim Schwartz. He's an in-your-ass guy.
Bill Belichick. Not many of his players like Tom Brady left Bill Belichick because he wanted to have more fun. So
then he calls out Baker for having more fun. Okay, all right.
I don't know anything about that. No, I don't know. But yeah, it's no.
You didn't hear that about so when they called Tom Brady called I think it was the Cowboys and Buccaneers. He said, yeah, he goes, I was so happy to come back here because they wanted more fun in the locker room. And then Tom Brady goes, yeah, well, at least I won championships, and that's what championships are. Like they both took shots at each other. I'm like, all right, here we are. That's awesome.
All right, I'll move on from that because you know where I stand on those 2 players.
I know you do.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, we talk about Bill Callahan, and I mean, I don't know. We can move on, but because we're getting.
I think the offensive coaching right now has hindered everything. And even if and everybody's like, oh, tell Stefanski to give a play calling. If he gives a play calling, it might get worse. Like, you don't understand. Like, I understand the management of the game of Kevin Stefanski, but hey, 2 times he's been coach of the year. 2 times he's had wins with Joe Flacco, multiple wins with Joe Flacco. He's had multiple wins with crappy quarterbacks and still called a great game. Like, I honestly think it is the other offensive additions. Like you said, Ken Dorsey, there's going to be a scapegoat, and it's going to be Ken Dorsey this year.
And just thinking about it, it almost reminds me of, and Ohio State fans can understand this, even though it's a Michigan analogy. Rich Rodriguez coming to the Big Ten and playing the 3-3-5 in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. It's smash mouth football in the Mideast or Midwest, and so. Us coming here and thinking, yeah, we're just going to run shotgun all the time. And, our passing game is going to be the central focus of what we do. And if we can run the ball a little bit, because of surprise, then we'll take it. No. When you come to Cleveland, the first, especially when you have what we thought at the time was a great offensive line. And what we thought at the time was hopefully a healthy Nick Chubb for the majority of the season. First thing you have to do is run the ball, and then you work off of running the ball. And that's what Kevin Stefanski did. When he came here, he was, we talked about 12-man personnel and all this, 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, and it wasn't fun to talk about. It wasn't fun to watch, but it was a hell of a lot more enjoyable than what we're watching now. And so, like, you run the ball, you play good defense, and then, you almost, if you can do those 2 things, you're 80% of the way there. And then I even in this NFL, we're seeing it with the Steelers. What's the Steelers record? 5-2? I mean, I understand they haven't really played the toughest of schedules to this point, but they're doing what they can. They're not turning the ball over. They're having a decent running game. They're playing defense, and they're 5-2. And if we could have just done that, rather than trying to revolutionize the offensive position, it would be completely different. So let's hope they use more. I don't want to call it common sense, but just understanding what division you play in. And now, if you get a unicorn like Lamar Jackson and he can do what he can do, then obviously you have to change your offense to that. But until you find that guy, run the ball, and then let's try to complete some passes off of that.
Now, we're going to revamp this a little later on, Bri. But as of right now, your Cleveland Browns are what? 1-6? 1-5? 1-6?
Yeah.
Whatever.
1-6. I think, yep, 1-6. 1-6.
Okay, so we're 1-6 right now, Bri.
Yep.
Over under 2 more wins.
Oh, that's where I was right at. As if
Right
do
at
we get to
2.
3 wins, or do we get to 3 wins, or do we get to 4 wins? Because we'll surprise somebody. Somebody will have a bad day against us. Somebody will take us too lightly, and our defense is still pretty good. It will get turnovers, and
Well,
the offense will get a spark with a new quarterback.
that was before everything happened. Do you think the team is all in on this, or do you think we're starting to we're going to sit I'm telling everybody right now, be prepared. There's going to be pieces on this team that are gone. Zadarius Smith
Oh, yeah.
probably gone. Greg
Right.
Newsome probably gone. There's multiple more that I can actually name off. If they are not locked into a long-term contract and bolted down, be prepared. They're probably gone. That's why I said buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. But Bri, I don't see them. I looked at the schedule, maybe one more game, especially the way they're playing. Now, if they start playing different with Jameis, I might change my tune. I really might change my tune. But right now, what I've seen in the first 7 games of the season, I got to take the under. I think they maybe win one more game, and then that's kind of it, because I have a feeling that this team, especially when they came out all coordinated for the press conferences after that about Deshaun and everything else, yes, they're united in the locker room. But Brian, I have a feeling that these people are like, well, fuck these fans. They're going to cheer a guy getting carted off. Why do I want to play for them? I'm collecting my check anyways.
Sure.
I'll show up. Sure, I'll show
Sure.
up. We've already had that. Holmgren, Dwayne Bowe, you name them off. We've had it here. That's what I worry about, that this is so toxic now that they're just going to give up. It's not even going to be competitive football anymore, Bri.
Yeah. I mean, there's certainly a chance at that. And that's why I kind of told you, I don't even know, how excited I am to watch this Ravens game, because it's just going to be, if the Ravens really want to, they're just going to massacre us. If they show up on a short week, thinking they got the game won, we'll probably win by 10, 14 or something like that. But if they really wanted to, their defense is good enough. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry's good enough. I heard 11.5 today.
11.5.
And I heard people picking the Browns, but yeah, I don't. I'll give my official prediction. I think they get out ahead, but then they let up a little bit. I'm going to say 30-13.
Bro, you got high hopes, my brother. I'm going to go 34-10.
34-10, 30-13. Gotcha. All right, so we both have Ravens winning and covering. I'm running low on battery here, so if you want to run into
No. We'll skip all right, let's do the trivia real quick, and then we'll skip Fat Boy Tuesday. Fat Boy Tuesday next week will be Crockpot Foods and Soup. By the way, Bri, I put out a poll about chicken noodle, tomato, or something else, and another chicken noodle, vegetable. That was
I might have 3 minutes just to let you know.
All right, speed through. All right, trivia. How many games did the Guardians and Yankees play against each other? How many years?
I'm going to say 12, and the Guardians won 28.
Okay, it's 6, 97, 98, 07, 17, 20, 22, and then this year.
Gotcha.
Okay? And New York was 15-12 in those playoff games. So New York won 15, Cleveland won 12. So that's where we're at with that. We do have to do our top 3, and I'm not going to play the sounder because Brian needs to do his minutes. Top 3 is, if you can redo a career in the NFL, whose player would you do as a redo? Bri, you want to go first to get yours out of the way?
Yeah, let me go just in case I shut off here. You actually reminded me of one today, so I'm going to say my number 3. Hopefully I'm not taking your number 1. Bo Jackson. One of maybe the greatest athlete of all time. And then he got shortened because of the hip injury, so it would have been so much fun to watch him play a little bit more. Then the other two, I went two Browns. My number two, Tim Couch. Wouldn't we all wonder what Tim Couch would have been without a great or without an absolutely terrible team around him? And, we won't get into the NFL screwing the Browns because of the success of the Jaguars and the Panthers early on. So he's my number two. My number one, Josh Gordon. Just had every physical attribute that you wanted in a wide receiver. I really think I compare him to like a Julio Jones, because he was big, he was physical, and he was fast. And so I really think he could have had a career comparable to Julio Jones if he just got his head on right.
I 100% agree. That is my number three is Josh Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have got his just head straight, there's been multiple people in Cleveland said it's the best talent they've ever seen. Like he could have been like Jerry Rice to us. And as Bry is turning sideways and he is probably getting out of here, right? God bless him, Bry. And he's gone. All right, so I'll remove Bry. Josh Gordon is my number three. My number two is also Tim Couch, because just to see what he could actually do with an offense and a team that would actually take care of him and not draft it into an expansion team with all the crap people that they had, because Carolina and then Jacksonville did so good that the Browns only got second slop on that one. And my number one, and Bryce said it too, Bo Jackson. From the folktale, from everything else that everybody has said about Bo Jackson, I believe Bo Jackson could have been the best running back in the NFL. And we got it cut too short with a hip injury. I wish it didn't happen, but honorable mention also for me as a redo. You have Dan Marino. I would like to redo it, even though his career was great. He's a Hall of Famer. If he was on somebody else winning the Super Bowl, I'd love to see that. And there was one more, and I'm trying to think of his name, and I cannot do it right now. So it is what it is. Thank you, everybody, for watching here on Network 216 and at Ham Illegal. We got like 50 people in here watching. Please go give us a like and subscribe, both Network 216 and at Ham Illegal. Also, catch us on YouTube. By the way, we are on iHeartRadio. I'm going to upload the audio tonight. So please go check us out. Give us a like. Brian always says, God bless you. God bless them. I am going to say thank you for our troops and first responders for everything you guys do. Appreciate everything. And we are definitely uncorked and unloaded. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Hopefully, maybe Browns win. Maybe. We'll see. Have fun.